Guess you moved on really easily. Criminal undercover. I'm sipping wine in a robe. Me prendes aunque no me estés tocando. So there you go. Oh, can't make a wife out of a hoe. Hey, girls want girls where I'm from. Baby. Put your love in the ass out. Oh yeah. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. And it hurts for me to think about what life could possibly be. I put my life up in the fire. I get my life right from the start. Yeah, that's it. Stop. What the hell are you talking about? Conversations with a stranger. And I will lie away. I'm giving you hundreds, fuck it. Late nights in the middle of June. Trying to explain your feelings sound like something you rehearsed. I'd be fucked up if you can't be right. I got you. Can you stay up all night? You're my starlight. I need you all night. Got me feeling on the head now. Say that forever. Let that line right there. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my trip up in the fire. I get my life right from the start.
She said, what you know about
Rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb. You can go
Papá
and
te
make a free.
vino, la liga de mar.
You want to talk about that COVID, that new blackout, we see wood.
Big bag, pussy, nothing really bad. Take a member, Balenciaga, party back and all these bitches.
I'm prison when I'm absent, speaking when I'm not there. All them bitches scary cats, I call them Carol Baskins.
I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
You gon' feel my surge.
It's all
Hey guys, Sean Fay-Wolfe of Diamond X Studios here, and I hope you enjoyed that celebration of this year's biggest hits, along with the real-time demonstration of what NFTs are doing to our planet. But that's enough spectacle for now. Let's get right down to business, and let's start that business by asking a very important question. What's the point of this video?
We'll see what's about to happen next, okay? Okay.
That question is serious, by the way. It's something I've been asking myself for a while now. What is the point of this video? I mean, from the title, it seems pretty obvious. I'm gonna look at every song that became a big smash hit in 2021. I'm gonna pick the 10 worst of them, and I'll count them down based on my own personal opinion while providing witty and insightful commentary along the way, with an abundance of quotation marks on both of those qualifiers. But no, that's not really what I mean. When I ask what the point of this video is, what I'm really asking is, to what end am I doing this? Like, aside from trying to entertain you guys by rubbernecking at spectacular musical disasters, what am I aiming to accomplish with this countdown? Over the years, I've made a lot of top 10 lists counting down the music of different eras, ranging from the present day to as far back as the 1960s, and from the beginning, my primary goal has always been to make fun of shitty music that we as a society have chosen to make popular, and to analyze what our collective musical tastes have said about us as a society over time. However, I've found that this has been increasingly difficult to do in recent years because music is becoming something that we experience as a society less and less. As we move further into the 21st century, the rise of on-demand streaming and short-form content has made music consumption so niche that we don't have nearly as many huge hits in the way that we used to. I mean, let's be real, that opening remix featured a bunch of the most popular songs of the year, and yet your average person off the street probably wouldn't recognize more than one or two of them. Compare that to the biggest hits of 10 years ago, where even if you didn't pay attention to pop music, literally everyone back then would recognize Rolling in the Deep, Firework, Grenade, moves like Jagger, and Pumped Up Kicks if they heard them. The point is that music that gets popular in the streaming age says less about what the entire country wants to listen to, and more about which people's niche musical interests are the least niche. So what exactly is the point of this video then? Well, first of all, just because these hits aren't as widespread as they used to be, doesn't mean that they aren't still absolutely huge. Even if just 5% of people in the US are listening to a shitty song, that's still more than 16 million people, so it's still true that whatever you're listening to, millions millions more people are listening to the songs on this list. And second, I feel the need to point out when the music industry tries to force shitty songs onto people who don't want them. A lot of people these days see the radio as a total joke, which it is, but the fact of the matter is that not only do millions of people still get all of their music from the radio, but there are still huge swaths of Americans, mostly in the Midwest, who don't have access to high-speed internet, meaning that they can't stream music and the radio is their only option. This means that DJs will often end up force-feeding millions of Americans shitty music that none of them actually like. And frankly, anyone forced against their will to listen to Florida Georgia Line several times an hour deserves to be vindicated by someone. To that end, I'm going to be making some changes to which songs are eligible for this list compared to previous lists I've made. So if you don't care about the behind-the-scenes technicals and want me to just stop rambling and make fun of the music already, then go ahead and skip to this timestamp. And for the rest of you, let's get into it. Now, traditionally, I've limited myself to using Billboard's year-end list of the 100 biggest songs of the year, and I've done that because I wanted to only shit on songs that actually managed to stick around and really define the year. If my only goal was to make fun of bad songs, well, then I could put pretty much anything on there because tons of bad music gets released every year, literally every single day. I mean, hell, did you hear that new Imagine Dragons song from earlier this year?
Only one of us will make it out alive, and it's not you. Only one of us.
Or what about that one where the lead singer of Stained whined about how the liberals are destroying America?
Another statue coming down in a town near you.
So yeah, you get my point. There were countless shitty songs released this year, but that doesn't mean people actually cared about them. Cutthroat didn't reach the Billboard charts at all, while the other one did hit the top 20, but that was only because a bunch of old people bought it after a promo on Fox News. It immediately disappeared off the face of the earth the next week. That said, the Billboard charts can also be pretty wonky, and their formula can lead to a weird mashup of industry-backed radio songs and songs with organic grassroots support that doesn't fully represent either side of that coin. Therefore, for this list, in addition to any songs that are predicted to make the Billboard year-end Hot 100 for 2021, I'll also be allowing any songs that hit the top 40 of the Rolling Stone charts for at least 5 weeks in 2021, as well as any songs that hit the top 20 of the Billboard Airplay chart in 2021. The Rolling Stone charts, may they rest in peace, counted streaming and sales without factoring in radio play, so including them should cover any big grassroots hits that Billboard missed. And using the radio charts will guarantee that if a shitty song gets put into heavy rotation, even if no one wants it, I'll still be able to bring the industry to task for it. And with that, I think we've covered everything we need to start. Now let me just say a random non sequitur so that everyone who skips forward to this timestamp is going to be really confused. And that's how the entire bungalow got filled with peanut butter. It's crazy. But yeah, enough about that. The time has finally come, so let's dive right in and take a look at...
I wear a mask with a smile for hours at a time. Stare at the ceiling while I hold back what's on my mind. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine.
So I'm willing to bet that at least one person watching this is an up-and-coming musician who's getting really frustrated with grinding your ass off all day, every day, but you still haven't hit your big break yet. And if you are in that situation, then I think I might have a bit of a life hack for you, because as it turns out, if you want to become the biggest musical superstar in the country, all you have to do is basically just this.
Hey there. I have a girlfriend. Oh my god, same! We have so much in common. Oof.
Hey, staring at your dress cause it's see-through. Yeah, talking all the shit that you done been through.
A little while back, I called Drake the nostalgia critic of hip-hop, which I thought made sense considering that he broke through in the late 2000s, he's put out new material pretty much non-stop since then, he basically defined his medium for those first few years despite never really growing or evolving with time, and he inspired a flood of wannabes in his wake, the ubiquity of whom made the entire scene really embarrassing for a while there. The difference, however, is that the nostalgia critic is basically a niche channel in the grand scheme of YouTube these days, whereas Drake just dropped a new album and broke a 57-year-old Beatles record by getting 9 songs into the top 10 at once. So with that in mind, I think a better comparison for the modern day would be that Drake is the Illumination Entertainment of hip-hop, pumping out a ton of products on airtight margins with as little effort as he can get away with while still appearing professional, which only succeed due to an oppressive deluge of marketing towards the key demographics, and a glut of celebrity guest stars who have been scientifically calculated to appeal to the widest demographic possible, even though most of them are clearly just half-assing their way through it for an easy paycheck. In fact, it wasn't easy, but after some digging, I was actually able to find some leaked footage of Drake with the label heads of OVO discussing the rollout of this album. Take a look.
Business. Numbers. Is this working? Yes.
Can I play a player, babe? I grew up with Drea face. I done seen the realest ones come and leave a crazy way.
Honestly, I swear that Drake is just a reverse Justin Bieber at this point. Just slap your name on his song and you've got an instant hit. I mean, Lil Baby is on here, but honestly, I totally forget about that every time I think about it. It's the most mid-ass forgettable verse the man has ever done. No, when I think about this song in my head, it's a Drake solo song. And let's be real, you know why.
Say that you a lesbian, girl, me too. Hey, girls want girls where I'm from, hey.
The second that Drake pressed the button and flooded the world with all 21 songs from Scorpion, I mean Views, I mean The Wall, I mean Certified Lover Boy, this was the song that everybody was immediately talking about. Twitter was immediately buzzing with people in utter disbelief, joking about and mocking that line, and it wasn't long before we saw articles talking about how damaging to lesbians this song was, how Drake was fetishizing gay relationships between women. I saw the term queerbaiting getting thrown around a lot. And you know what? I agree. Drake is baiting all of us. But not that way.
Say you go that way, I guess we both go the same way. Girls want girls where I'm from.
If you're expecting me to go on some long-winded rant about how this song is offensive and problematic, I'm not gonna do that. Not because it's not either of those things, but because more than anything, the best word to describe Girls Want Girls is pathetic. Tell me, honestly, do you really think that this song was supposed to be hot? Does this sound like Drake attempting to titillate you?
Staring at your dress cause it's see-through. Yeah, talking all the shit that you done been through.
No, of course Drake isn't trying to be hot here, nor is he trying to be funny. He's not trying to be anything. His only goal here is to get you to click on his shit. It's transparently obvious that Drake wrote that lesbian line specifically to be memed. Drake knew full well that he had thrown together a half-baked slog of an album without a single standout track on it, so he slapped a random controversy bait line into the song with the biggest name collaborator solely so that people would have something on the album to talk about.
Say that you a lesbian, girl, me too.
Oh god, look at Drake calling himself a lesbian. That's such a meme. You'd better listen to the song, average Spotify user. Oh, look at the silly pig dancing on the thumbnail. That's so funny. You'd better watch the video, young child.
I've been on that shit, I only vibe with a payday.
And you want to know what the worst part of all of this is? I can't even say that the song is terrible. What can I say? Drake has the formula. He knows how to do mind-numbing catchiness, and this song is just barely not worth the effort for most people to hit skip on when it pops up on a playlist. So you know what? Well played, Drake. You have the talent and resources to bring any musical vision you could possibly dream of to life, and yet you choose to clog up the charts with useless backwash like this. Take the cheap grab at anti-brownie points out of the mix, and Girls Want Girls is basically just Tootsie Slide again. Except this time it doesn't even have a TikTok trend to justify its own existence. And it's a real testament to just how far we've fallen when that is a fucking qualifier.
And all that they can ask is, why are you so sad, kid?
2021 was a bad year for country music.
Girl, I've always loved you, but I don't love you like I used to.
You know, this song is technically eligible for this list under my new rules. Yeah, believe it or not, Love You Like I Used To by Russell Dickerson was still in the Airplay Top 20 this January, so it does qualify to be put on this list. And I won't lie, I was tempted. It is worth noting that country music as a whole has become notably more diverse over the past couple years. You've got a nice blend of both men and women offering traditional country songs, more polished pop-leaning stuff, more modern hip-hop inspired stuff, and just about everything in between. Unfortunately, one of the most prominent currents of the scene continues to be boyfriend country, aka guys who put on a nice approachable face to lure you in and charm your parents, and then say literally anything in the world they think will make you unbutton your jeans for them. Basically, just imagine all those shitty One Direction songs from 2012 being performed by a guy on Tinder with this profile picture, and that should give you the general idea of what boyfriend country is. Love You Like I Used To might actually be the worst hit of the genre so far. I mean, not only does Russell Dickerson look and sound like Brendan Urie got body swapped with Lindsey Graham, but the whole opening to this song is this big, long-winded spiel to his girl about how they have to have a serious talk about their relationship because he doesn't love her like he did when they first met, and then he follows it up like this.
I don't love you like I used to. This gets better every time you kiss me like this.
Oh, fuck off with that shit. Oh, I don't love you like I used to because I love you more than ever. Oh, what a twist. Oh, please, that's such a hack move. This guy should be forced to wear a Guy Fawkes mask for the rest of his life. So yeah, this one was definitely bad enough to make the list, but it was way bigger in 2020 than it was this year, and I don't think I could really call this a 2021 hit in good faith. I guess we'll just have to settle for sloppy seconds then.
I love you just the way God made you, girl. He don't make mistakes.
I'm not really sure what to say about this one, considering that it's pretty much as standard and by the books as a hacktacular boyfriend country song possibly can be. I mean, I guess I can start by talking about the sound and composition, by which I mean pointing out that there is absolutely nothing worth saying about it. This song doesn't have an interesting musical bone in its body. I'd normally give the song credit for at least being mercifully short at barely over 3 minutes, but then it would immediately lose all of that credit by jamming in the chorus 5 times in that space. If you thought that melody in the opening was a little bit cloying, yeah, 80% of the song is just them repeating it. And what words are they saying in that cloying little melody?
I love you just the way God made you, girl, he don't make mistakes. What you call your imperfections, I call beautiful, babe.
I love literally everything about you, and all your imperfections do is make you even more perfect. Congratulations. You solved love.
God made it's the way, it's the way, it's the way, it's the way God made you.
I'm sorry, call me a cynical, jaded asshole if you want to, but to me, saying your imperfections make you even more perfect is up there with nice guys finish last, attack helicopter jokes, and ratio young boy outsold as things that should get you laughed out of a room if you ever say them unironically. I made a quip earlier about shitty One Direction songs, and you probably thought that was a bit of a cheap shot. Like, we're in 2021, what the hell are you doing making One Direction jokes? What is this, equals 3? But that comparison didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, 1D got shit back then, not just because they were a boy band and it was 2012, but because so many of their songs were just weird and gross and felt really icky when you considered that they were being targeted towards a teenage fan base. Seriously, if you weren't paying attention, you have no idea just how bad it got.
The dimples in your back at the bottom of your spine, but I'll love them endlessly.
This song was a #1 hit in the UK, by the way. This video's sequel cannot come out soon enough. But anyways, yeah, a lot of those early 1D songs were really ewy looking back, and Just the Way is doing literally the exact same thing. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it.
You're insecure, don't know what for. What you call your imperfections, I call beautiful, babe. Let my eyes be your mirror, and you're bound to see it too.
It's honestly ridiculous that people are still trying to play this straight. Just the Way is a country song being played alongside Lee Brice and Chris Stapleton on the radio. It's a song meant for adults in loving relationships, and yet it's using the language of boy bands selling posters of their faces to 12-year-olds. Then again, I guess it does make sense that this song is coming across as so gimmicky and childish when you consider who's performing it.
Tell 'em, blonde. The way your hair's in a mess in the morning when you open your eyes.
This gentleman right here with the poorly done auto-tune is Mr. Blanco Brown, and I have to assume that he's the reason Nashville radio latched onto this song so hard. I mean, it sure as hell wasn't because of the white-hot star power of Pomeranian, or whatever the hell they're called. And if you're wondering what makes Blanco Brown someone worth promoting, it would be the fact that he made this.
Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart.
Yeah, it's that guy, the dude who made The Get Up, a country rap song made after Billboard pulled Old Town Road off the country charts for being not country enough, which was then allowed to go to #1 on the country charts, and that showed that Billboard wasn't racist after all. I was considering making a joke about how the Old Town Road knockoff Billboard led onto the country charts to prove how diverse and inclusive they are was made by a guy whose name literally translates to white and brown, but that would require me to have any meaningful thoughts about anything this man has ever done musically or otherwise, and frankly, I have better things to do in my big retrospective of 2021 than analyzing what a knockoff of 2019 Lil Nas X is up to 2 years later. When Blanco Brown starts filming music videos naked in a prison shower, then we'll talk.
Girl, I ain't never gonna try to change it.
Look, all these observations may be fun, but they're just window dressing. Just the Way is on this list because it was the worst big boyfriend country hit of 2021, and it represents a trend that's draining Nashville of all of its most interesting elements. I mean, I suppose it does beat the bro country era, where the strategy was just to jerk off into a pile of dirt and hope that somehow got you laid, but if your only saving grace is that you're mildly preferable to Luke Bryan, yeah, I think we can all do better.
That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is.
One thing that I really appreciate about 2021 as a guy who reviews music for a living is that while I do think that this was an excellent year for pop music overall, there were no shortage of bad songs to talk about. I mean, just compare it to last year. In 2020, there were so few legitimately bad hits that I put Come and Go by Juice WRLD on my worst list. And that's a perfectly decent song whose only crime was getting a marshmallow fluff stain on its jacket. In recent years, I've often had to stretch to find popular songs that I really disliked. A lot of the time, I've had to focus on just one or two elements of a song that rubbed me the wrong way, even if the the rest of it was fine. And I didn't love doing that, but hey, they were still technically among my least favorite hits of those years. 2021 though? No man, we're eating this year. There may not be that many songs that I outright hate, but there were a ton of songs that I consider bad. I actually had a good few songs that I wanted to put on this list but didn't have room for, and that hasn't happened in a while. In fact, you want to know just how plentiful the bad music from this year was?
Real hot girl shit.
Yep, we're already here.
That ain't the baby, that's my baby.
Her friends and her mom hate me. Go lay down on the bed, do the cry, baby.
So this is a song where Megan Thee Stallion and DaBaby rap about how good they are at sex while making jokes comparing themselves and each other to babies over a beat that sounds like a baby goo-goo guy. I would make a joke about this being some sort of weird fucked up Illuminati mind control experiment, but unfortunately we live in a timeline where the real world has violently murdered the concept of irony, so I have to sit down and seriously critique this shit instead. Joy. Look, I thought this was a lock for number one on this list when I first heard it early in the year. I mean, hell, if you look at the chat replay from the premiere of this video, you'll probably see a bunch of people with their jaws on the floor that a song that I literally refuse to acknowledge the existence of for a good portion of the year didn't even make it into the bottom half of this ranking. I mean, God, how repugnant must the rest of this list be if something this awful and fucked up couldn't make it any lower than number 8, right? This song isn't that bad, guys.
Lay on my stomach, toot it up, do the cry, baby. Look back, hold it open, now he annihilated.
Okay, to clarify, the song is definitely bad. It's awkward and embarrassing as sin, and I have no idea why anybody would seek it out when they could listen to literally any other Megan Thee Stallion song instead. But it's not that bad. I don't think it's anywhere close to the worst big hit of the year. So why did I act like it was so jaw-droppingly awful in those other videos that I made?
First of all, it's pretty fun messing with people.
Yeah. But beyond that, I won't deny that this song does really smack you in the face when you first hear it. Like I said, my initial reaction was that this song had a good chance of topping this list, because for the love of God, why would you make a sex jam over the sound of a gurgling infant? I still don't have a good answer to that question, but the more I listen to this song, the more I don't want to say the more I understood it, but the less I was bothered by it. Over time, the baby sounds just kind of melded into the beat, and before long it didn't even register as human vocals at all. It was just an abstract sound. And when you consider that this song only took off thanks to the Crybaby challenge on TikTok, which has nothing to do with babies, and as far as I can tell just involves the world's least enthusiastic air humping, I'm sorry, but it's clear that most people just heard it as another hip-hop beat. And over time, I guess that's how I learned to hear it too. I'd argue that it's a really gimmicky, lifeless, and monotonous hip-hop beat that is 100% not worth the weird looks you'll get for dancing to it, but all in all, the more I listen to it, the more I realize that Crybaby might be a bad song, but it's not a bad song that's worth spending my energy to shit on. You know who is worth spending my energy to shit on, though?
I am. What a nigga gotta do for your number? Shorty came through with their hair so good, I said, fuck it, I ain't using no rubber.
It's nearly impossible for me to believe that it's been barely over 2 full years since DaBaby broke out in the summer of 2019. It really feels like he's been around for as long as I can remember. And that's probably because the public opinion of this man has swung up and down over these past 2 years like the world's most violent seesaw. He first showed up with Suge and everyone loved him. Then they realized that he was just doing the same thing over and over again and they turned on him. Then he was added to Mario Kart and people loved him again. And then he started acting like a homophobic asshole and everyone turned on him again. Much harder this time. And considering that the current downturn in public opinion is concurrent with a downturn in both DaBaby's critical and commercial performance, I have some serious questions as to what his future holds. Or at least I would if he proved to be a person worth caring about. So yeah, this worst list wouldn't feel complete without at least one DaBaby song on it. And Crybaby is very special in that regard because it really is a smorgasbord of all this guy's worst traits as an artist. Are you sick of DaBaby because he's a one-trick pony who just makes the same song over and over again? Well, his verse on Crybaby is the exact same low, homogeneous braggadocio as always, which is totally indistinguishable from Suge, Bop, Cash Shit, and For the Night, among many others. Do you hate DaBaby because he's a total douchebag? Well, he retweeted a joke about Megan Thee Stallion, his co-star on this song, getting shot by Tory Lanez, and when she called him out for it, he talked down to her and was a condescending asshole about the whole thing. Are you sick to death of DaBaby's never-ending string of baby jokes and references? I think you get my point. Crybaby may not be the worst hit song of 2021, but it is the hit song from 2021 that I most wish had never happened. And somehow I have the feeling that Megan would agree with me on that one.
It just keeps on piling, it's so terrifying, but I keep on smiling, I'm good.
This was a bad year for country music.
'Cause every high and every low leads to this. I'm just so glad you exist.
A lot of people told me this song would have made their worst lists, and I don't see it, frankly. I mean, yeah, it's vapid and it's obnoxiously chipper, but it's harmless. Hell, if you put a gun to my head, I might even call it kinda cute. I can only assume that people want this on the worst list because they're just so completely done with Dan and Shay at this point. And if that is the reason, then trust me, I get it.
I'm speechless.
Dan and Shay might not be the worst thing in music, but they are the most pointless. They had one good song back in 2018, but everything they've put out since then has been an ever-increasing avalanche of sterile, ballsless white noise that means nothing and has brought country music to a point so watered down and useless that it makes Lone Star sound like Johnny Cash himself. I completely blame Dan and Shay for the big boyfriend country boom that hangs over Nashville like a noxious cloud to the present day, but they've become so nondescript since then that I legitimately don't know if I can even call them country anymore. I mean, hell, according to Wikipedia, their most recent album isn't a country record at all, and considering that their big hit off of it was the duet with Justin Bieber, where I legitimately had a hard time telling whose part was less interesting, I can't say that I blame them. So yeah, I can totally understand people hearing Glad You Exist and wanting me to take these two to task for continuing to phone it in the blandest way possible without even trying anything new, but believe it or not, this is actually the best outcome we could have hoped for. Bad things happen when Dan and Shay actually try.
I should probably go to bed. I should probably turn off my phone. I should quit while I'm ahead.
Okay, so, you remember Telephone by Lady Gaga? That was a pretty big hit back in the day when Lady Gaga was the biggest thing on the planet, and because it was the early 2010s and everyone thought it was the funniest thing ever to harshly dismiss anything popular with bad faith arguments, one argument I remember hearing was that it was the stupidest song ever because if Lady Gaga was so bothered by her boyfriend calling her, then she should just turn the phone off. Yeah, I'm not joking. That was an actual argument I heard in the lunchroom more than a few times in middle school, which is where I was when that song came out. I even remember joking about it myself at the time, because we were 13-year-old boys, and confirming with each other that Lady Gaga was an idiot was just kinda how you made friends in 2010. Now, I'd like to think that my critical faculties have developed at least somewhat since then, but you know what? Maybe I haven't grown up as much as I thought I did, because when I hear Dan and Shay devoting a 3-minute song to how this guy is having a mental debate over whether to go to bed or to leave a drawn-out, desperate declaration of love over a long-dead relationship as a voicemail, I'm struck with the overwhelming urge to yell, "Oh my god, just turn off the phone, you meat dress wearing idiot!"
'Cause I know in the morning I'll be calling, saying sorry for the things I said.
This song is one of the most frustrating listening experiences I've heard on the pop charts in quite some time. And no, it's not because his grand struggle of to drama bomb or not to drama bomb is unrelatable. Being blindsided with feelings over a long-dead relationship when you hear your ex is back in town is a perfectly realistic situation to be in. But the thing is that it's also a completely fucking miserable situation to be in. So who the hell would want to hear a song about that? Actually, no, scratch that. A better question is, who the hell would want to hear a shitty Dan and Shay song about that?
I should probably go to bed before I question my decision. Is it love? I know it isn't.
I don't understand how this song manages to fail in the way that it does. I honestly don't think I've ever heard anything quite like it. The instrumental is so minimal and understated for the majority of the song, and yet Dan and Shay are still singing in their ridiculous overwrought drama kid vocals, so what you wind up with is a song that feels like it never starts, and yet you constantly want to yell at it to shut up. It's the audio equivalent of lying in bed with an aching back, tossing and turning and desperately looking for a comfortable position to lie in that just refuses to exist. I just cannot for the life of me understand what this song is trying to accomplish. And then Dan and Shay end the song by trying to be Queen.
To walk away if you're walking.
Okay. So, imagine if Styx released a concept album about how depressed Dennis DeYoung was that his Tinder match left him on red. Yeah.
I should probably go to bed.
Always being judged by a bunch of strange faces. Scared to go outside, haven't seen the light in ages.
So, how about that TikTok, huh?
I'm begging you.
Yep, that TikTok is still as big as ever, changing the course of music and all that jazz. I personally have still yet to engage with the godforsaken service, instead choosing to take the YouTube Shorts path, which somehow makes me feel even older and more irrelevant than if I just ignored the whole phenomenon to begin with. Okay, joking aside though, TikTok has now gotten to the point where we need to sit down and have a talk about it. Because whether you love it or you hate it, the fact of the matter is that it's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the app itself will go out of style before long, some other service will come along to replace it, and people will look back at it with the same misplaced nostalgia they have for Vine and old YouTube, but the fact is that TikTok has already been so successful at shaping the world of music in its own image that its impact is going to last far beyond the app itself. The act of making short-form videos set to popular songs and using them as a means of social interaction has become the definition of what popular music is for a huge number of people. And that's a radical paradigm shift with implications that I don't think we fully realize yet. Even when the app itself eventually goes the way of the Ginsburg, the culture of TikTok is going to last for a long time. And the influence it's already had is not difficult to see. So many of the biggest hits in the world seem specifically tailor-made to this new paradigm of short video-based social media, with songs that work absolutely perfectly in the quick, immediate remix ecosystem of TikTok, even if they really don't make sense in more traditional outlets of musical consumption like the radio. But damn it, that's not gonna stop the radio from trying.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard. She can't take the pain, she can't get scarred.
You probably heard the chorus of this song a lot through 2021. You probably saw a good few TikToks being soundtracked by this song. You probably thought that a lot of those TikToks were funny. I mean, hell, I won't front. I looked up a few TikTok compilations set to this song, and I thought that more than a few of them were amusing. Check these ones out.
Hey, she's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
Absolutely majestic.
Hey, she's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
You can practically smell the singeing of ass hair in real time.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
I don't think I've ever seen a stronger argument for Medicare for all than this.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
Well, I suppose the low-hanging fruit is there for a reason.
Hey, she's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
Not much to see here. Just a friendly reminder that one of America's longest-running talk shows is best known for people wildly celebrating that a kid is left without a parent. But yeah, I think I've made my point. Trackstar by Mooski is an exceptionally good fit for TikTok. It works absolutely wonderfully when you use it as a quick, snappy soundbite for a funny viral video, and it's for this reason that I feel compelled to ask why this song got the majority of its chart success from the radio.
Leave a trail of heartbreak and heartache like it cool.
You heard me right. This song saw significantly more success on the radio than it did in any other category. You see, the radio has been experimenting with giving airplay to more TikTok songs as of late. It started during the pandemic when radio programmers didn't have access to market data, and so they were willing to pave the road wider, to quote the immortal Dillard. And that seems to be continuing now that things are opening back up. This is how a mid-tier TikTok song like Trackstar was able to actually chart high on Billboard, because people weren't buying this song, they weren't streaming this song, and they sure as hell weren't watching the YouTube video. No, the music industry apparently decided that out of all the songs the kids were dancing around to, this is the one that they should broadcast in its entirety all over the country. A decision which I can only guess came about through cabin fever, illicit substance use, or possibly a wish on a monkey's paw, because trust me, this isn't a song that anybody wants to listen to for more than a few seconds.
Lost for words, let it hurt.
Trackstar by Mooski isn't a song that invites any particularly deep discussion. It's basically just Worth It by YK Osiris from a couple years ago, with literally everything that made that song work surgically removed. Mooski can't stay on this swampy, badly mixed beat to save his life. He overloads the song with ugly falsetto runs and obnoxious ad-libs, and what could be at least a novel set of lyrics about a girl who bailed on him the moment the relationship got difficult are immediately undercut by his bitching at her about not keeping their relationship issues private.
I asked you what you feeling, you don't speak at all. But you go straight to Twitter, you gon' tweet it all.
Oh man, I'm so upset that this girl is being so public with our relationship issues, and the only way I can possibly get over it is to whine about it on one of the most widely listened to songs in the United States. I mean, the entire song is basically just that one line from Survivor by Destiny's Child.
I'm not gonna blast you on the radio. I'm better than that.
God, that must have been awkward when that song became a huge radio hit. But you know what? That's probably being unfair to Mooski, because I don't think anyone actually did hear that bit about his girlfriend, because everyone who sought this song out turned it off immediately after the chorus, and I can only imagine anyone listening to it on the radio instantly switched the station whenever it came on. You know, unless they wanted to listen to this.
She run from all the product like she in shape for it. Hard times, wait for it, and then she break for it. Heart broken into pieces, but tape on it. Fragile, made out of glass, close the drips on it. Trust issues, so deep, play and safe on it.
Honestly, at this point I'm starting to wonder if we were supposed to relate with this girl running away from this guy as fast as her legs can carry her.
She can't take it, oh yeah.
And with that, we have reached the halfway point of this countdown. Now, don't click away yet. My picks for the top 5 might not be until part 2 of this video, but I still have about a dozen songs left to tear into today as part of my first round of Dishonorable Mentions. Before that, though, I'd like to take a brief moment to be the algorithm's bitch and remind you all to leave this video a like, to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications of every new upload, and to leave a comment with anything at all you want to say about this video, these songs, the music of 2021, or literally anything else. Running this channel is my full-time job. I work on scripting, editing, recording, and promoting these videos every day of the week, and literally every single comment you write and every single like and subscription tells YouTube that this is content worth showing to new people. So thank you so much for your engagement. It really does mean everything to me. And now, without further ado, on to the first half of the Dishonorable Mentions.
We about to get it on. Take off them drawers. It's just you and me.
Okay, just to clarify right off the bat, just because I put a song in the Dishonorable Mentions, that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's bad. It could also mean that I just got sick of it really fast, or I have a couple specific issues with it, or in this song's case, that I find it to be extremely disappointing. Pop Smoke is the artist who spearheaded the explosion of drill music into the mainstream, which is still going decently strong today, and yet the man himself only has one actual hit drill song to his name, with all his other hits being really underwhelming downtempo R&B. It's easy to point the finger and say that this is just a label taking advantage of Pop Smoke's untimely death, chopping up his unfinished work and selling it for parts to make the highest profit possible, but considering that Pop Smoke himself clearly recorded this vocal line specifically as an interpolation of an old R&B hit from 2001, man, I don't even know what to think anymore.
Long as you come through, I'ma make it come over and over.
It's easy to know what to think about this one, though, and that's that it just sucks. I already went into fair detail about why in my summer top 20 ranking. Go watch that if you want the full context, but long story short, Roddy Ricch and Mustard had the world at their fingertips after they absolutely owned 2020 together. They easily could have been the Justin and Timbaland of the new decade, and yet they chose to play it safe and kowtow to the low, vibey energy of the time, completely butchering all of Roddy's strengths as an artist in the process. I legitimately don't know if Roddy Ricch is going to have any more hits after this, and the fact that I'm even considering that as a possibility is a sign that something has gone horribly, horribly wrong.
No need, I'm talking my boo, so please.
Boring.
Only you can hold my body.
Even more boring, and the fact that they tried to remedy its boringness by adding Justin Bieber to it is fucking hysterical. I'm still not sure if Bad Bunny is good actually and Yonaguni was just really underwhelming, or if Bad Bunny is bad actually and Dakiti was just really good.
I don't love you like I used to.
Awful. Just the absolute worst kind of country music. It would have been on this list and pretty damn high if I didn't feel like being really pedantic with the rules.
Bitch, I'm getting money, give a fuck about a haters, motherfucker.
And the same applies to this one. It was technically eligible by my rules, but that was only because after Nicki's remix dropped, her fans bought enough copies for it to barely scrape into the bottom of the Rolling Stone Top 40 for a few weeks. And considering that this is a fan base with enough buying power to make #1 hits, that tells me that even the Barbs didn't like this one too much, which I completely understand. I mean, Bia sounds like some cursed fusion of Fergie and 21 Savage. It's one of the most insufferable sounds I've ever heard. Honestly, Nicki's part is probably the highlight. At least she sounds like she's actually awake.
Let a young nigga come play in your throat, deep stroke your throat till I make you choke. Throw baby.
Gross.
I'm sitting here knowing I don't need you, pouring O's in the lid, sipping chaser with my reef, can't get my mind on Waukesha.
Yeah, no, sorry, I reject this on principle. That beat has been taken.
And I was all you had, and all my heart is beating for you.
Some things just go better together, and probably always will.
Listening to Luke Combs perform a quiet, somber dirge with minimal accompaniment is like watching a bear playing chess. This is not what he wants to be doing, and that is abundantly clear.
I'm not your friend or anything, damn. You think that you're the man,
There is no artist on earth more deserving of making a fuck the press song than Billie Eilish, and the fact that I didn't feel this one at all is really disquieting. I stuck up for Billie and Phineas hard. I called them the next Lennon-McCartney. I really thought they were going to shift the world of music around them, but I just didn't get into anything they put out this year, and the underperformance of her singles tells me that the world is agreeing with me. Please pick it back up, you two. I know you've got it in you.
Bitch, it ain't even my birthday, but I can ball if I want to.
I'm pretty sure that this is the last sound a person hears before God condemns them to hell for being homophobic.
Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor.
This is another song I've already torn into hard in my summer top 20 ranking, and my thoughts have not softened over time. To make a long story short, this song does an absolutely excellent job taking you on a journey through the remarkably realistic mental state of a teenager who's just been broken up with, who calls her ex a devious traitor for finding a new partner after just 2 weeks. I do kind of admire this song, but I admire it in the same way that I admire Walter White from Breaking Bad, in that it's a truly admirable piece of fictional writing, but certainly not a portrayal of the kind of person I have any interest in dealing with in my real life. And if there's one thing Olivia Rodrigo is very good at, it's making you feel like there's a real-life teenager right there dumping all of her emotions directly on top of you.
Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy, not me, if you ever cared to ask.
And that right there is the exact same reason why Good For You is a very good pop song that I like a lot, and also a song that I would be completely okay with never hearing again in my life. I mean, if you're in the mood to sing along with it, then it will absolutely hit the spot. But this was absolutely not a song that was designed to be played absolutely everywhere, all the time, which it has been for months.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze.
And here we have yet another song that I actually enjoy quite a bit, although I will admit that this one is purely a guilty pleasure. If you turn off your brain and let yourself get caught up in the beat and the flow, then this song will take you for a pretty fun ride. I can't see why Barack Obama put this song on his summer recommendation playlist, but God help you if you pay even the slightest bit of attention to the lyrics.
She say that I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G-O-D. Don't believe in T-H-O-T.
I'm sure that was Obama's favorite line.
Put this shit in a frame, but I know I don't blame everything that I say. Man, I seen you deflate.
I find it very funny that people were fear-mongering about this song ushering in a new Joyner Lucas lyrical miracle future for hip-hop. Because if you think that these lyrics are any kind of miracle, then you must make the Amazing Atheist look like John the Baptist himself. Masked Wolf wasn't trying to impress anyone with these rhymes. He was just trying to fill up space with a random mishmash of words that sound vaguely like hype, but don't attempt to say anything, even in a smug, self-aggrandizing way. It's extremely rare that I see normal people turn on a rap song purely because of how nonsensical the lyrics are, but this one absolutely deserves it. I mean, you could literally have a bunch of people write 24 completely random lyrical phrases without talking to each other, and that wouldn't make this song make any less sense. And the reason I know that is because, well...
What you know about radio heads hits on Creep.
When you do that jump, you can feel the natural breeze.
He's employee of the month, SpongeBob got that devotion.
Man, I could use some cucumber melon lotion.
Hey, why am I about to fall asleep?
When you make that dough, you can call yourself Big Cheese.
When these people talk too much.
Give myself a promotion!
And I feel like her with a witch's potion.
She say Dabba D. I'm like, nah, that's blue.
I believe in B.O.B. Don't believe in G-L-O-B-E.
She keeps chewing her gum. I'ma make her lip numb.
I can't find my pencil. Where the fuck is my fucking pencil?
Got the gout from sauerkraut.
I just wiped out Tomato Town.
Killing friends at speed of sound.
So Fay-Wolfe is in your house.
Talent to the core like Jules G. Verne.
Joe was schoolboy like Steve Burns.
Mainstream music is so diverse.
Big ass suit like David Byrne.
That new song from Meg just came on. I'm a twerk.
Watch me sip this lemonade for refreshment. I'm a squirted.
People's tastes nowadays are eclectic.
Love cucumber melon lotion.
Shadow ball just got reflected. Ay.
Put that shit in a frame. I just made you lose a game.
Yeah, I bet it's been years since you thought about the game.
Gotta get the fame, chase someday.
Kylie Minogue said, la 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 la.
Kesha is my guy, especially praying holy days.
Spin my head right around when you go down, ayy.
Vibe with the song, it's not a dub.
We got my blood, Kendrick Lamar.
Want a piece of crap, a piece of shit, a load of shit. Won't you go suck a dick, dumb shit?
Let's rock out to Power Line.
Lost shit in the grapevine.
Everything you just heard was random, but wasn't really more incoherent than...
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze.
When these people talk too much,
Put that shit in slow motion.
Did you ever have one of those days where you feel like an astronaut in the ocean?
What do you know about rolling down in the deep?
When your brain goes numb, you can call that sexy freeze.
When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion.
Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean.
What you know about Radiohead's hits on creep? When you do that jump, you can feel the natural breeze. He's employee of the month, Sponge has got that devotion, man. I could use some cucumber melon lotion, hey. Why am I about to fall right the fuck asleep? When you make that dough, you can call yourself Big G's. When these people talk too much, give myself a promotion, yeah. I feel like brewing a witch's potion. She say Dabba D. I'm like, nah, that's blue. I believe in B.O.B. Don't believe in G.L.O.B.E. She keeps chewing her gum. I'ma make her lip numb. I can't find my pencil. Where the fuck is my goddamn pencil? Got the gout from sauerkraut. I just blew up Tomato Town. Ending lives at the speed of sound. John Fay-Wolfe is in your house. Tunnel to the core like Jules G. Verne. Joe is cool, but I like Steve Burns. Mainstream music is so diverse. Big ass suit like David Byrne.